This is a deep dive analysis of Heejin's algorithm MV and where exactly it fits into the Loonaverse, because I really think that this MV sets up a lot of things for the future of Loona. But before I'm going to do a deep dive into the themes of this MV, let's quickly look at the MV in general. We see Heejin in what seems to be a white dress, in particular a hanbok. This is a type of Korean clothing that has existed for a very long time. But in the time Western style clothing became popular and Korean people started to wear these styles of clothes in their day-to-day, the hanbok became a type of clothing you wear for special occasions. It has a lot of meanings, and even the type of pattern can completely change the meaning of the clothing. The materials used for the hanbok was a signal for status. While commoners had them made with cotton, the people with a higher status had them made with closely woven rami cloth or other high-grade lightweight materials in warmer months, and of plain and patterned silk throughout the rest of the year. While white clothing is in a lot of cultures all around the world connected to purity and innocence, in Korea, white clothing, in particular a white hanbok, is called a minbok. This can be translated into clothing of the people. This was quite commonly worn on a day-to-day basis, and only for special occasions did they wear colorful clothing. For some period of time, the average person was restricted to only wearing white clothing, and even when the ban was lifted, they used a lot of colors that almost looked like colorless jade. Nowadays, the white hanbok often represents resistance when it is worn in modern Korea. It is worn in folk plays, worn by protesters for anti-establishment movements, and worn by social activists or progressive politicians. What exactly this could mean for us moving forward is unclear to me, but I do think that this use of color is supposed to separate this posh-looking Heejin from the free-spirited Heejin we see later on in the MV, who is wearing really colorful clothing. We also can see that all of the women around Heejin are wearing black, white, red, purple and blue, which are the signature odd-eye circle colors. We see the woman following Heejin as if she is some kind of royalty, and she confidently smiles while getting closer to the camera. Now we see her Instagram profile, and yes, this is a real Instagram profile. Both the posh Heejin and the free-spirited Heejin got their own Instagram profiles. There isn't that much to say about them, but interestingly enough, they are Korean princess spelled with a 1 as an I and a 2 as an I. Two separate profiles for two separate people, perhaps? Next we see the woman around Heejin looking after her, as if she is some kind of princess. Princess like in Korean Princess 1 perhaps? This type of filter looks like an AI filter, and as an artist I of course have to say that to use AI is really not that great. And in a lot of the shots the AI looks ridiculous and kind of blurry, but nonetheless I feel like this adds meaning to the MV. The title of the MV is Algorithm, and AI is trained on algorithms. This means that the AI algorithm is the programming that tells the computer how to learn to operate on its own. So an algorithm is a set of instructions to be followed in calculations or other operations. This fits in very well with Heejin, since she is seemingly following orders, doing what is being told to her in this MV. The world around her being generated by AI makes this algorithmic symbolism even stronger. Like, even the world around her is being controlled. We see a lot of comments around her, which are basically all compliments, and she starts to dance. This is important for later. Now we see the women caring for Heejin again, doing her makeup and brushing her hair. We see Heejin sit alone in her room, and she looks up the odd-eye circle members dancing on her computer. She seems to stare longingly as if she envies the members. This explains why we saw her dancing before. She wanted to copy the members and break away from her algorithm that probably doesn't allow her to dance and have fun. The next morning, Heejin is back in the cycle, trains with the other women and smiles. when we see that this probably was just a nightmare of Heejin, because she suddenly wakes up in shock just to decide to run away that morning instead of staying in her algorithmic life. Now we can see the free-spirited Heejin I mentioned before. She wears colorful clothing and is together with the Odd Eye Circle members. Also, what a lot of people didn't seem to notice is that Heejin is wearing the exact same skirt as Chuu, but in a different color. This is a nice little callback since Chuu had a bunny plush to reference Heejin, and now Heejin wears the skirt as a reference to Chuu. They are now in a store where you can shoot some group photos, and Kimlip puts a crown on Heejin's head. But obviously just as a joke reference, because these are props for the group photo shoots and not an actual crown. So the background for all of the photos is purple, and we can see Heejin solo and then Heejin and Cherry. In the upper left and the lower right corner, we also see the Loona symbols. A square for 1/3, the circle for Odd Eye Circle, and the triangle for YY by Y. Next, Kimlip is added to the photos. Now we get a better look at the photo shooting booth. The background of the booth is, interestingly enough, white. So the purple background was edited into the photos on purpose. Jinsol is added to the photos and we get to see all of the Odd Eye Circle members together with Heejin. Also, Heejin is wearing bunny ears, another reference to her assigned animal. Then all of the photos are exchanged with the Air Force One Odd Eye Circle members, and Heejin in a new outfit. Now forget everything you think you know about the Loonaverse, okay? The Heejin in the beginning of the MV looked like royalty. The Heejin in Air Force One did as well, as did the alternate Heejin in the Vivid MV. The Heejin running around in the beginning of the MV is a different one from the Heejin that wears the colorful outfits. We can see now that the posh Heejin ran away and seemingly got together with the Air Force One Odd Eye Circle members, and now she wears a different black and white outfit to fit in. I will talk about this in detail later on, but for now I'm going to continue with the analysis. The photos switch back to the colorful members and we see all of the Odd Eye Circle members, then again only Kimlip and Cherry with Heejin, and then only Cherry and Heejin, and again the Loona symbols in the lower right corner. There is a QR code on the lower left corner, but no matter what I did, I couldn't scan it, and I'm just hoping that this is not supposed to be an Easter egg. Now you can see a little clearer what my problem with the AI filter is. The arms and even the faces of the background dancers just morph into the background. This could have looked way cooler if they would have hired animators, but I'm just saying, I guess. What is kind of weird to me is the fact that this livestream is at exactly the same time as the livestream of the Posh Heejin, 12:40. I mean, 12 could be an obvious reference to Loona's 12 members, but I don't know. Now the members are going out, and while the Odd Eye Circle members wear black and grey, Heejin is wearing a colorful version of her Air Force One photoshoot outfit. Getting back to the white handbook being worn to show the resistance of protesters for anti-establishment movements and worn by social activists or progressive politicians. The song Smells Like Teen Spirit is heavily connected to this symbolism as well. Teen Spirit is widely interpreted as a teen revolution anthem, an interpretation reinforced by the music video. In an interview conducted the day Nevermind was released, Kurt Cobain stated the song was about his friends, explaining, "We still feel as if we're teenagers because we don't follow the guidelines of what's expected of us to be adults." It also has kind of a teen revolutionary theme. So Heejin rejecting her algorithmic life that is planned out by others is exactly what a white handbook or the "we smell like teen spirit" symbolism could be about. If this was not done on purpose, well, then I guess life imitates art. Also, the "we dress blue" sign that then is yellow, which is the opposite of blue, is kind of rebellious as well. Now we see Heejin practice her dancing, and there are references to the members' colors, of course. Heejin in her colorful Air Force One outfit without the AI around her could be another sign of breaking the algorithmic circle she was trapped in. Or again, it could just be there to look pretty and it could not have any meaning at all. This maybe isn't a totally clear reference to newer orbits, but this is part of the Vivid choreography, a callback to Heejin's debut. Now Hustle is coming to Heejin's rescue. Next, Heejin is performing in front of a jury. This looks similar to the audition in the Loossemble MV. And again, there's an emphasis put onto Heejin wearing colorful, free-spirited clothing that makes her stand out in the crowd. Also, her pants say ragged on the back, so another thing fitting into her rebellious nature. Also, her shirt says Bourneville Chocolate. Well, guess what I found out? So, Bourneville is a model village on the southwest side of Birmingham, England. It was built by the brothers George and Richard Cadbury to provide houses for the workers at their chocolate factory. The Cadburys believed that social problems were often the result of bad housing situations, and Cadbury's is well known for their chocolate products, including a dark chocolate bar branded Bourneville. Seems like another reference to anti-establishment movements and social activism to me. Now we get what seems to be Morse code, but I couldn't make it make sense. So I think this time it might not be any type of code. After this we get to see outtakes for the MV and then we see the ARTMS logo. Now let's start to dive a little bit deeper into this. In Heejin's Vivid MV there is the idea of two Heejin. One Heejin that is posh and noble, and she tells the other Heejin what to do and to do her dirty work. The other Heejin does the dirty work for the posh Heejin, but when she sees color awaken all around her, she becomes curious and wanders around. My theory was that the parallel to Alice in Wonderland was supposed to let us know that Heejin, much like Alice, has no part in creating these colors, but more so is an observer. The MV starts off all in black and white, when everything becomes red and maybe Heejin saw Kimlip awakening her powers. And other than red, Heejin also has an outfit in yellow with a purple bow, and around her there is also a lot of blue and some green. At the end of the MV we see Heejin now in a green dress cleaning the house like she was advised to. Another interesting detail, the MV has white borders. Which MVs also have white borders? Other Circle's MVs have white borders. Eve's MV and the Hi MV. The Algorithm MV as well as the Air Force One MV have black borders, just like the MVs for Vivid Acoustic Mix, Go On, Olivia Hay, Love Forever, Favorite, and Butterfly. But let's leave this for later. So the people with white borders are basically Eve, who is known to travel through realms, and Odd Circle, who have superpowers. Well, Heejin meets another version of herself. This also only happens to a few of the Loona members. Heejin, Hustle, Kimlip, Cherry, and Olivia Hay. I feel like Heejin has a strong connection to the Odd Circle members. And in a way, the new MV continues the story, unlike some who theorize that there is nothing to theorize about in this MV. I'd like to differ. In this MV, we basically see Heejin join Odd Circle. Also, just as a side note, this is also a continuation of the Air Force One MV. In the Air Force One MV, which also has a reference to Eve, just let that sink in, we see Odd Circle crash a party of quite posh people, and there are men in suits that somehow are not affected by Odd Circle stopping the time and making them freeze. On the other hand, Odd Circle also have allies that are not affected by their powers. At the end of the MV, when they stand on the table, the people are not frozen anymore and step closer to them. Then Jinsol knights the woman that Cherry in the beginning of the MV took the crown off of. Also, at the end of the Air Force One MV, all of the guests seem to bow down. Then we see Heejin, who is a part of the posh squad, has what seems to be an odd eye. But let's think about this for a second. The Odd Circle members awaken their powers by making their colors bloom. but Heejin's eye is white and not hot pink. Maybe this is something entirely different from an odd eye. Also, this might be a stretch, but if this posh Heejin is among the black and white odd eye circle girls, is it maybe too far-fetched that these are two different Heejins and odd eye circle units? I mean, we were all shocked when Kimlip was all of a sudden the only member to keep her original color, and when it was seemingly stated that these colors are not new official colors but just a variation. I mean, we were all a little bit confused at the time. So what if this yellow Jinsol and blue cherry, or this white Jinsol and this yellow cherry, are just not the original members that we know? When we look at the MV through a new perspective, it seems odd that they would crash a party and beat up men, that they would run wild and free and even destroy a truck just because they were too lazy to step aside. Odd eye Circle never used their powers to do whatever they wanted to. They always wanted to use their powers for good. For example, they used their powers to bring the Y girls to Earth and create a new moon. They are sweet and zealous girls, and this is all kinds of weird if you think about it. The algorithm MV seems to underline this. In the MV we get a clear distinction of the colorful and cute odd eye circle and the black and white dangerous odd eye circle. To make this easier for myself, these girls are going to be called Circle 1 and these girls will be the Circle 2. So Circle 1 Heejin, who seems to be royalty, is jealous of the odd eye circle members. Or at least she admires them and through her admiration finds the strength to break away from her cycle and escape her algorithmic life. She leaves the strict rules of her metaphorical cage behind and decides to make her own life decisions from now on, just like Y did before her. So I looked at the Instagram profiles that were created for the comeback, and there is a clear distinction between the posh princess number 1 and the laid-back singer princess number 2. So Circle 1 with the posh Heejin and the dark odd eye circle girls are probably coming together, and what we can say for sure is that the odd eye circle members of the Circle 2 with the laid-back Heejin were friends to begin with, and even Hasso is part of this friend group. I haven't yet uploaded an analysis video for the Hi and Butterfly MV, but my conclusion for them is kind of important to understand this MV, so I'm just going to quickly explain what I personally think the Loonaverse looks like. So in the Hi MV we see the girls come together as a group, right? Well, we don't really get a lot of scenes with all of the 12 members together. And the only scenes where we see all of them together are scenes in which they do the choreography. But these scenes are rarely a part of the storytelling in music videos. So at the end of the MV we see all of them start running. Running seems to be an important motive in the Loonaverse. But what does this actually mean? Well, we get kind of an explanation of this in the teaser that was released after Hi MV. We see the end of the MV, but it is played backwards. In the Girlfriend MV, the ending of the MV is the beginning. The MV loops. Kimlip is seen running in the MV, and when she stops running, she sees herself in the past. She basically traveled back in time. So could it be that this teaser and the members running in the Hi MV is supposed to let us know that they reversed time? The Mobius strip is a reoccurring symbol in the Loonaverse. So what actually is a Mobius strip? The Mobius strip is a one-sided surface, so it loops indefinitely. It is theorized that the Loonaverse has the form of a Mobius strip, so maybe the timeline is looping just like a Mobius strip, and maybe the members coming together as 12 is the end of the story, but because they didn't come together properly, they turn back time and let the story play out another time. This new loop or alternate timeline seems to be shown to us in the Butterfly MV. In the Butterfly MV and the teasers that were released beforehand, we can see that the members are not all together, and the members that are together are shown to us in these dark and moody scenes, indicating to us that this timeline is a lot darker. We could come to the conclusion that all of the MVs with the white borders show how the members in the high timeline are working on coming together as one, which is why they generally show us positive events in the Loonaverse. While the black border MVs generally have darker aesthetics, like Go-on's MV in which she is followed around and is scared, or Olivia Hayes' MV in which we see her left behind by the others, just like in the Love Forever MV. This could generally show us that the Butterfly timeline is a darker timeline and the High timeline is a happier and lighter timeline. This also makes it even more interesting that Heejin has her MV with the white borders and her acoustic mix MV has black borders. So if the members do not come together properly again, what does this mean for the timeline looping? Well, we see this in one of the teasers for the Butterfly MV, in which Go-on is using her powers to resurrect butterflies, maybe trying to reunite the members or change the timeline's events. Now, if we see Heejin's algorithm MV for what it is, which is a continuation of the Loonaverse storyline, just like Air Force One, then we can come to the conclusion that this black and white circle 1 of Posh Heejin with some kind of Orai and the darker version of Orai circle are inhabitants of the Butterfly timeline, while the Sporty Spice Heejin with the ARTMS members is probably an inhabitant of the High timeline. If these timelines are coexisting or not is not outright told to us, but since we see these two different versions, the Princess 1 and Princess 2 versions being separated, it makes me believe that these are coexisting timelines. This is quite interesting as well, because there were a lot of theories about two timelines coexisting in the Loonaverse, and that the High timeline needs to help out the inhabitants of the Butterfly timeline for the loop to end and for the new moon to be created. And this could explain a lot of the more confusing parts of the Loonaverse. Why is there another Heejin in Vivid? Why does Hustle meet herself and shoot her doppelganger? And this ties in really well with the Butterfly teaser, where Go-on makes her way towards the plane and takes a feather to resurrect it. Maybe she's resurrecting the alternate timeline's Hustle. And the two cherries helping out each other to bring all of the Loona members together would be an interesting idea as well. But who knows, I think we are going to get at least some answers in the beginning of next year, when ARTMS is going to make their debut with an album called Doll, which sounds like the Korean word for moon. Could this be foreshadowing? Well, if you want to see more of my Loonaverse analysis videos, you can subscribe, and if you like the video, you can like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it.